This here's the story all about how the idiots in Congress got all turned around. Yes, we all know they are. Okay, that was my bad attempt at rapping. So, this video was supposed to be about the incredible time that the House of Representatives wastes on things. Um, so there were three resolutions. I read through all of it and I read through the entire argument. They spent an hour arguing about these resolutions. Now, a resolution, for anyone who doesn't know, is really just their way of expressing their opinion about something that happened or a person who did something. It can be good, it can be bad, either way. It's just basically an opinion. It's not a law. It's not, it's just an opinion. It's saying, yay, we think that this person did something great. Yay, this bad thing happened. No, not yay, bad, but this bad thing happened and we aren't okay with it. That's it. That's all a resolution is. And these idiots spent over an hour on, I think it was June 9th, arguing about these three resolutions. So I'm going to do this part real quick because originally it was just to highlight how much time they wasted. But as I'm reading it, I realized there were so many um, other things that I could talk about having to do with just this hour of argument over resolutions. And so I'm going to do quickly what the resolutions are, what the basic arguments, that kind of thing. And then I'll get into the other stuff. So, okay, so let's see. Yeah, one of the things is that there are so many actual bills that can do stuff for us. They're sitting on committee floors while these idiots are arguing for resolutions. It's insane. So there have been, over the past month or so, three incidents of violence against Jewish Americans. June 1st, there was a peaceful rally in Boulder to bring attention to people who are still missing Jewish hostages that were taken by Hamas on October 7th, 2023. In that incident, there were 15 people wounded, one of which was an 88-year-old Holocaust survivor. So the guy, Mohammed Salomon, who was an immigrant who had overstayed his visitor visa, has been arrested. His wife and 5 kids were taken into detention. According to Cruella de Vil of South Dakota, they were being questioned. According to the White House, they were awaiting deportation. May 21st, 2 Israeli embassy staff were gunned down outside of the Jewish Museum in BC by allegedly by Elias Rodriguez, who is an American from Chicago. April 13th, Governor Josh Shapiro's house was lit on fire while they celebrated Passover, and that was allegedly committed by Cody Balmer, who is an American. Okay, so House Resolution 481 was brought up by Mr. Van Drew, who's a Republican out of New Jersey. It essentially condemns anti-Semitism and calls for law enforcement to investigate and prosecute, and calls for community leaders to speak out against anti-Semitism. That's it. That's what it does. That's all it does. That's it. House Resolution 488 from Mr. Evans, who's a Republican out of Colorado, focuses mostly on the illegal alien in the Colorado case, how he got here, why he was still here, how he planned and carried out the attack, that kind of thing. It mentions the bad guy 14 times and doesn't mention victims at all, which one of the representatives took exception to. It was more about border protection than anything else. It was more about just saying we really need to work on border protection. That's it. Didn't make a bill or anything, didn't make anything illegal. Just he thinks we should do more work about the border. Don't we all? So House Resolution 476 came from Mr. Neguse, who's a Democrat out of Colorado. no name of the bad guy, no name of the victims. Calls for an investigation, condemns the June 1st one only, calls for continued vigilance. That's it. That's it. Didn't do anything. And guess what happened? After they argued for over an hour about these three resolutions and which one is better and which one we should go, they agreed on all of them. All of them. They argued for over an hour about three resolutions, not bills, just resolutions, just giving an opinion. And they agreed to all three of them. What an incredible waste of time. Okay, so on to my other point about these resolutions, or actually the arguments that they used about these resolutions. So while they're arguing about anti Semitism, they open the door for arguments they didn't intend. Let me start. Mr. Van Drew, who's a Republican, his arguments. He discusses a young lady that they had heard from during their Judiciary Committee who told them how her mother had begged her not to wear her Star of David in public. And he discussed the fear. Here's his quote: fear to wear a yarmulke, fear of attending a local synagogue, fear of simply living openly as a Jew in this great country. Now, let me switch this statement up a little bit. Fear of wearing a rainbow, fear of attending an pride parade, fear of simply living openly as an LGBTQ plus person in this country. Same thing. Same thing. But they don't see that. They don't see that. Same argument. Okay, so, or fear of going to work in a meatpacking plant, fear of attending an immigration hearing, fear of simply living openly as a brown person in this country. That also, it works there too. They can't go to work. If these people are illegal immigrants and they're such horrible people, why are they working? They're obviously not a suck on our system. They're not taking, they're working. Or they're going to legal immigration hearings. They're doing it the right way, yet they're getting taken out. Simply because Baby in Chief wants his numbers to be bigger than everybody else's. We need to have big numbers. I need big numbers. That man. Okay, so I went and looked at the FBI's page on the definition of hate crime. This is from FBI.gov. So it's the official FBI website. And this may not be there forever. This information may go away because, I'm pointing out problems that they hate. So a hate crime it's defined as committed criminal offense which is motivated in whole or in part by the offender's biases against race, religion, disability, sexual orientation, ethnicity, gender, or gender identity. Even if the victim was not a part of that whatever group, but the perpetrator thought they were, it's still a crime. So even if they think that my gender is not female, even if they think I'm a man pretending to be a woman, and they assault me because of it, it's still a crime, even if I'm not a man pretending to be a woman. Okay, so when we consider race, ethnicity, and ancestry, anti-American Indian or Native Alaskan, anti-Arab, anti-Asian, anti-Black or African American, anti-Hispanic or Latino, anti-multiple races, so, any other group that fits, anti-Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander, or any other race, ethnicity, or ancestry. I don't know why I can't say race today. Or anti-white. Religion, anti-Buddhist, anti-Catholic, anti-Eastern Orthodox, so Russian, Greek, whatever, anti-Hindu, anti-Islamic, anti-Jehovah's Witness, anti-Jewish, anti-Mormon, anti-multiple religions, anti-other Christian, anti-other religion, anti-Protestant, anti-Sikh, anti-atheism and agnosticism, etc. So you can't be against any of those. You can't commit crimes against somebody for being a Christian, being not a Christian, being anti-religion. You can't go after anybody for any of those. Sexual orientation. So you can't commit crimes that are anti-bisexual, anti-gay, anti-heterosexual, anti-lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. So essentially any of the LGBTQ plus community. Disability. You can't be anti-mental disability. You can't be anti-physical disability. Gender identity. You can't commit crimes that are anti-transgender or gender non-conforming. Those are hate crimes. So now that we know, I'm going to discuss some more about how what they're saying can fit so many other situations. Mr. Van Drew, again, Republican from New Jersey, quotes, "We need to protect America from anti-Semitism with the same ferocity as we should protect the right of Americans' free speech. Because if Jewish Americans can't walk freely in Boulder, or work safely in D.C., or celebrate Passover in their own homes without fear, then we have indeed failed as a nation." So again, let me switch that up a bit. We need to protect America from anti-LGBTQ plus with the same ferocity as we should protect the right of Americans' free speech. And he doesn't say which Americans. It is all Americans. Because if gay Americans can't walk freely in Maryland, or transgender people can't serve freely in the U.S. military, or brown people can't celebrate Cinco de Mayo without fear, then we have indeed failed as a nation. His quote, "In the United States of America, you can rally and you can demonstrate and express your viewpoint. You have freedom of speech." I don't think I need to go into that one. Everybody has that right. Everybody has that right. Mr. Goldman, Republican of New York, says of Mr. Van Drew's resolution, "It boldly condemns the hate crimes because hate crimes of any kind has no place in this country." Again, I don't need to change any of those words. Hate crimes of any kind have no place in this country. Any kind. Mr. Williams, Republican out of Texas, said, "Every American has the right to assemble peacefully." Every American includes brown Americans, LGBTQ plus Americans, and all other Americans who choose to stand up against whatever they feel the government is doing against their wishes. They have the right. Every American. He also said there's no place for hate or violence in the United States. So they have opened up their own arguments for interpretation. And when they decide to discriminate against any group, I sure hope that these things are brought up. I really hope they are. So I managed to get that all in. I'm so excited. I really didn't know if I was going to make it. So thank you all. If you managed to get through the whole video, I appreciate it very much. I would appreciate if you would like, subscribe, share. And like I said before, it truly hurts my brain to know this stuff and to not be able to share it with as many people as possible. So, as always, have a day that matters.